Another day, another Facebook controversy. The social network admits the passwords of hundreds of millions of Facebook users were visible to employees at the company from as early as January. The login credentials stored in a non-encrypted, readable format that any Facebook employee could read. Facebook disclosed the flaw after the security blog Krebs on Security reported on it based on a so-called internal source. Thursday, Facebook said the problem has been resolved. And, quote, to be clear, these passwords were never visible to anyone outside of Facebook, and we found no evidence to date that anyone internally abused or improperly accessed them. Sarah Fryer covers Facebook for us and joins us now. What?
It's just another hit at the trust people have for Facebook. I mean, this is following the major breaches we talked about last year when people's logins were taken for getting personal information from their accounts. And then, of course, Cambridge Analytica, which we talked about a year ago to this day, the political consulting firm that got data on millions of Facebook users without their permission. It just keeps coming.
Now, Facebook isn't giving specific numbers. They did say hundreds of millions of Facebook users were impacted. Millions of Facebook users, most of those hundreds of millions of users were using the Facebook Lite app, which is for emerging markets. Millions of Facebook user accounts also impacted, and thousands of Instagram users also impacted. Brian Krebs is saying this could be up to 600 million accounts we're talking about.
Which is a very I mean, that's bigger than most apps we use. I mean, that's a lot of passwords. And so Facebook is going to be letting users know if their password wasn't involved in this problem.
They found out about this in January. They didn't admit to it until now. So for at least 4 months, Facebook has known about it. Shouldn't they have told users about this 4 months ago?
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that they're clearly coming out and saying after Krebs on Security reported about it first. Krebs is writing about it from the perspective of a source. It's unclear to me, like, if that source hadn't told them about it, would we ever find out about this breach? It goes back to what I've been saying, which is Facebook doesn't think of security in terms of security from itself. Right? They think about security in terms of third parties, breaches, attempts to share personal information by developers. But when it comes to the information that Facebook is gathering and storing, to them, you know, it's all in the family. It's a very transparent company, and they can keep tabs on that stuff.
It's never happened, as far as we know, at this scale, though there have been smaller incidents at Twitter, GitHub, of this happening. But talk about the irony here, given that Mark Zuckerberg is trying to pivot to privacy, to more encrypted messaging, when they can't even encrypt our passwords.
Well, he joked a little bit about that when he was making that strategic transition. He was like, maybe people won't believe us when we say that we care about your privacy. I mean, this is another example of why people are concerned. It's not that they don't trust Facebook when they say things, it's more about their actions. I mean, this stuff keeps coming up. Doesn't matter how much they say they care, it matters what they do.